Hey, what's up everybody, it's just Charleston and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty serious show for you guys that we want you guys to stick around for, so please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, this Kyrie Irving thing is something that is kind of just taking the sports world by storm, right? And every single day there's something new to discuss. Just yesterday, we did a show where we were reacting to the 6 steps that Kyrie Irving would need to follow that was given to him by the Brooklyn Nets in order for him to return back to the team as a full member, to be a part of the team. And it was something that a lot of people were not happy about when they read the list, right? A lot of them thought it was disturbing, and it was something that even the NBA players, some NBA players, Jaylen Brown and others, that basically came out and said, according to a report, that a lot of players were disturbed, and it didn't sit well with them with some of the requests that the Brooklyn Nets we're making, wanted Kyrie Irving to fulfill. Then we got some news today that we heard that Kyrie Irving met with Adam Silver, Commissioner Adam Silver of the NBA, and apparently they had a productive, get together, sit down with one another. Now, the actual details of that meeting will remain unclear right now. We don't know that. This morning, however, while I was kind of combing through the internet, a video was recommended to me on YouTube from about Jay Williams talking about the situation. Now, initially, I thought it was clickbait. I didn't think it was a real video, but it turned out that in fact it was a real story. So I decided to click on it. And as y'all know, Jay Williams is an employee at ESPN, right, where you have to say certain things a certain way. So when I clicked on the show, the video, to my surprise, and I'm sure many people that saw it, Jay Williams was being very, very candid, and it seemed like he wasn't really worried about him possibly losing his job or whatever it was, but it seemed like it was something that he needed to get off of his chest. So for those of you who missed the comments that Jay Williams had to make, what we want to do is we want to play them for you now, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what Jay Williams had to say here about the Kyrie Irving situation, and then we're going to come back and unpack it. So take a listen to that there.
So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in a skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi, we don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize, and then you know what? The rest of the world moves on. But what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the Black community, like we've been told that's how the process works, right? Think about that, Bert. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. Is that person really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay. We understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of Black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with Kyrie is even after an apology, it's not enough. We feel like there needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. So we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the Black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him. And there's a bigger situation going on. What's happening with Kyrie Irving? If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should hold everybody accountable. But we don't keep the same energy for everybody. We pick and choose what conversational points we want to make more polarizing. And I might lose my job. I might lose deal opportunities in the future for speaking out about.
So you heard the things that Jay Williams had to say. Let me tell you guys what I think is happening right now. I think when this thing initially broke, a lot of people were 100% not against Kyrie, but a lot of people didn't want to touch the situation. And I think everyone was just like, okay, let's just see how this thing unfolds. And then I think at a certain point, you know, we all knew that it was going to be inevitable for Kyrie Irving to put out an apology, especially after the news dropped that he was going to be suspended for 5 games without pay. And then right after that, we heard that Nike was suspending their relationship with him. And in fact, they were not going to be releasing the the Kyrie 8s, if I'm not mistaken. So we knew that an apology was down the turnpike, right? So he offered an apology. But then what happened? The Brooklyn Nets decided to take it a step further when Sean Marks, the general manager of the team, said that was a very good first step. And a lot of people were like, first step, what does it mean? What did he mean? Well, none of us really understood what he meant by that until the Brooklyn Nets released those 6 steps that Kyrie Irving would have to follow. It was something that we actually covered ad nauseum yesterday. And I'm actually, what I'm doing right now is I actually want to pull up those 6 steps that Kyrie Irving had to go through, just to reiterate the point here. Let me just see if I can find the 6 items that Kyrie Irving would have to follow, because it was something that drew a lot of criticism. Basically, those steps were: number 1, apologize and condemn anti-Semitic movie. Number 2, make a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes. Number 3, complete sensitivity training. Number 4, complete anti-Semitic training. Number 5, meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders. And number 6, meet with Nets owner Joe Tsai to demonstrate his understanding. And I think what ended up happening was, I think that these guys, and in this case, we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. I think they ended up overplaying their hand. And what started to happen yesterday was they were starting to get some pushback on this. And to give you guys my thoughts about this, number 1, I think on what Jalen Rose had to say, about damn time people say what they think and stop twerking it up all over the place and saying what they think people want to hear. So Jay Williams in that moment, I think he said what he really believed. And he dealt with he said, I'm willing to handle whatever, comes with it. I think at this particular moment, I think this Kyrie Irving thing needs to come to a sound resolution. I think the point has been made. I think whatever steps need to be taken, whatever necessary steps need to be taken swiftly. All of this stuff that they were requiring there, I don't think any of that is going to happen, nor should it happen. And I think this thing needs to come to a close, because what's going to happen is the more this thing drags out, the more you're going to see some of this. At a certain point, everyone was quiet, but now these guys are taking it a little bit too far. And then you're going to start getting the pushback, and then all of a sudden it may lead to another, place and create new conversations that may not necessarily need to have taken place. But if this thing continues, this thing will grow some further legs. So these are really my thoughts on the situation. Hopefully this thing comes to a conclusion. So this is what I think. What I want to know from you guys: what do you think about what I had to say? What do you think about what Jay Williams had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.